7 members are present. We do have a quorum. Would the clerk please read the proposed consent agenda items?
Item number 1, consider approving the March 17th, 2022 business session minutes. Item number 2, consider approving the appointment of Terry Atwell, 6th District Representative of the Planning Commission through October 4th, 2022. Item number 3, consider approving the appointment of Emily Vietti, 4th District Representative of the Public Art Commission through December 31st, 2023. Item number 4, consider ratifying the chairman's reappointment of Tim DeWeese to the Community Corrections Advisory Board through February 7th, 2023. Item number 5, consider ratifying the chairman's reappointment of Charles C. Lanier, Jr. to the Community Correction Advisory Board through February 7th, 2024. Item number 6, consider ratifying the chairman's reappointment of Ulysses Wright to the Community Corrections Advisory Board through February 7th, 2023. Item number 7, consider ratifying the chairman's reappointment of Carol Gonzalez to the Civil Service Board through February 5th, 2026. Item number 8, consider ratifying the reappointment of Mary Turney, Chairman's Representative of the Public Art Commission through December 31st, 2024. And item number 9, consider ratifying the reappointment of Leonard Nick, Chairman's Representative for the Investment Review Group through December 31st, 2023.
Any questions about the proposed consent agenda? If not, it will stand as presented. Next item under the action agenda.
Item number 10, resolution number 017-22, application number SE 21-182-CUP-SP. Consider a request from Michael and Lauren Levin, landowners, for a conditional use permit for an oversized accessory building on property zoned RUR, Rural District in Section 25, Township 14, Range 23, and located at 18805 West 175th Street.
Ms. Leininger.
Morning, Michelle Leininger, planning staff. This is a conditional use permit for an additional oversized accessory building on the property shown outlined in blue on your screen. Property is south and west of the intersection of 175th and Ridgeview Road. The applicant was previously approved in 2015 for construction of a 2,400 square foot accessory building in addition to an existing 480 square foot building for a total of 2,800 square feet of accessory building on site currently. The code permits 1,860 square feet on site. Whoa. Here's a different view of the subject property, again outlined in blue. Some things to note are the accessory buildings on site currently, and then the proposed location of the new accessory building, which is the blue square. It is behind the current building and then kind of tucked up against a tree line on the west side of the property. This will help with visual effects from the adjacent property and from the road. The proposal does not increase traffic or impair health, safety, concern, comfort, morals, or general welfare to the public. At the March 2nd Southeast Zoning Board meeting, the board recommended approval of the conditional use permit to allow the addition of a 2,000 square foot accessory building for a total of 4,880 square feet of accessory buildings on property located at 18805 West 175th Street, subject to stipulations as recommended by staff. No members of the public spoke regarding this item, and I can answer any questions.
Okay, well, this is a planning item. Will remain on action. Any questions? All right, next item.
Item number 11, resolution number 018-22, application number SE 22-185-PP-FP-SP. Consider a request from Robert Bennett of Residential Surveys applicant and Shirley Greenstein and Dennis and Michelle Greenstein, landowners, for a preliminary and final plat for a two-lot residential subdivision to be known as Sanford Estates on 1.94 acres, zoned PRU-1B, Planned Residential Urban Single Family 1B District in Section 26, Township 14, Range 23, located at 21035 West 180th Street and 21045 West 180th Street.
Ms. Leininger.
Michelle Leininger again, planning staff. Before I get into the presentation, I just want to note that I will be making some updates to the resolution and the briefing sheet, just so you'll notice it'll be slightly different. We need to add some details about the preliminary on the resolution. And then that way, if you notice on that briefing sheet, there are two motions. We'll be able to combine those into one. So you will see some slight changes, but they're things we've caught after the fact. So again, these are preliminary final plat for Sanford Estates. The location is just west of 169 at 180th Street. This plat is to legally establish property boundaries for two lots. This is something that TTV kind of flagged and sent the property owner to us to try to address. Over time, this property owner has, as you can see in the visual on the left, they've recorded some deeds to change the property lines, added some property, subtracted some property. So with that, they have made the lots where the houses are non-compliant. So this is just to fix that. On the right is the visual of what the parcel layout is currently. And they're proposing to change it to two platted lots, so that center sliver lot, part of it will go to the north, part of it will go to the south. There will be two lots as an end result of the plat, and each house will have its own lot. All the code regulations and standards and minimum infrastructure standards are all met with this plat. Again, here's the plat, Lot 1 and Lot 2. So this is cleaning it up to allow it for better marketability if they choose to sell each lot in the future. That way each lot is legal and buildable if they wanted to add an accessory building. At the March 2nd Southeast Zoning Board meeting, the board recommended approval of the preliminary and final plat, subject to stipulations as recommended by staff. No one spoke regarding this item, and I can answer any questions.
Questions? Ms. O'Hara.
So this is just cleanup, and these two lots have access to sewers, correct?
Yes, they have access to sewers, access to waters, access to streets. It's just
Cleanup.
cleanup.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Linger, thank you for the presentation. Just a general question. When we make changes like this or approve changes like this, do they also run through the adjacent city if it falls within the city planning area?
Yes, they get notification to, for example, this one, Spring Hill. They didn't provide any comments.
Very good. Thank you.
Again, this is not a zoning, it's preliminary and final plat. So,
Correct.
well, this is a pending item, will remain on action. Next item.
Item number 12, IFB number 2020-007. Consider authorizing a contract with the Overland Park Convention Center for a contractor licensing location in an amount not to exceed $425,000 annually, with a contract term for 1 year with 4 additional one-year optional renewals, and to authorize payment of the fall 2021 and spring 2022 conference invoices in the amount of $263,609.42.
Mr. Leipzig, you've got about 3 minutes.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Jay Leipzig, the Planning, Housing, and Community Development Director. I'll be very, very brief on this. This is for a contract exemption for the Overland Park Convention Center for contractor licensing. you're aware, we've had our education seminars over there for a number of years. The Overland Park Convention Center, frankly, is the only facility large enough to accommodate groups of this size. So 2,700 people generally attend those conferences. We did January 30th, 2020, we did an IFB, or invitation for bid, to test the market, to see if there are other facilities. No other facilities are large enough. The only bid that was received was for the Overland Park Convention Center. So with that being said, there's also a request to authorize payment for the fall 21 and 22 conference invoices in the amount of $263,609.42. So that I'd be happy to answer any additional questions you might have.
Mr. Ashcraft.
I was just going to note, I appreciate the 42 cents.
Ms. O'Hara.
So did we hold those conferences in the fall of 2021 and?
Yes, we did, Commissioner. Several things happened. We did the invitation for bid, and then COVID happened right at that time, and so that was never brought to the board
Okay.
for
All right.
formal approval.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Action, consent?
Consent's fine.
Consent, okay. All right, so noted. Next item.
Item number 13, consider authorizing the Aging and Human Services Department through the Johnson County Area Agency on Aging to accept grant funding from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 in the amount of $1,626,014 from the Kansas Department for Aging and Disability Services, and authorizing the addition of one FTE information and assistance specialist, and authorizing the reallocation and expenditure of general fund reserves in the amount of $270,000 for FY 2022 expenditures.
Ms. Leah.
Good afternoon, Megan Leahy with the Aging and Human Services Department. So this item is to both accept a grant and to authorize a new position. We are asking for approval to accept about $1.6 million in ARPA funds. This was passed about 1 year ago at the federal level through the American Rescue Plan Act. This is separate from other county funds received through ARPA because this is through the Older Americans Act, which is then passed to the state of Kansas, who's then distributed this to the area agencies on aging within the state. The reason for this money is because there was previously an influx of CARES dollars, so they want to prevent a abrupt decline in services for older adults. There's also an emphasis with this money to address nutrition, food insecurity, infrastructure, and socialization among older adults. This grant's approximately 3 years, so we have through September 30th, 2024 to utilize these funds. One of the things that we want to do immediately is create a full-time information and assistance specialist. We currently have 2 of those positions, and we want to add a third to the team. We previously had a third and have tried to make do with 2, but we really need 3 to maintain the existing workload for this team. This team is really the front door to all of our aging services to provide information or referral assistance to anybody seeking services. So whether that's an attendant care through in-home services or accessing home-delivered meals, this is the starting point. This team also provides information through our website, best times, community events. They also do options counseling, typically on site in our office, so for families or older adults looking for information about services. They serve as the Aging and Disability Resource Center. So this is the entry point for accessing Medicaid, home and community-based services, and also a number of waivers like the frail elderly waiver, brain injury, and physical disability. That's a contract we have through the state, and I'd note that serves all ages, birth on up. And the last piece that they do are care assessments. So this is an evaluation that would need to be done for any Johnson County resident seeking a permanent move to a nursing facility that receives Medicaid dollars. We do that evaluation. So you can see in the briefing sheet there are some statistics on the performance data among this group. It's a busy group, you can see, and our service numbers just continue to increase with the growing population.
Okay. And again, these are ARPA funds, but they're state funds, right?
Yes, they originate at the federal level. About $1.4 million is federal, and then there's a local match component to that too.
Okay, all right, other questions? Ms. Hanslick?
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Ms. Leahy. I'd appreciate the opportunity to learn a little bit more about this, in particular, how this, what the plans are for this funding to enhance and expand our current services. If we might have that conversation in the next week, I'd appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Ricecraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Similar to Commissioner Hanslick, I'm supportive of this, but I would be interested in learning more about your metrics. So if you would give me a call, I would appreciate it.
Ms. O'Hara?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the 270,000, is that the match?
Yeah, great question. So we really anticipated spending most of these monies in 2023 and 2024. The state recently came to us and said, if you can expend the local match portion by June 30th, they would cover that. So the county would not have a local match. So we're asking for the $270,000 in budget authority so that we could spend that through
And
the
then
end
it's
of
going to be
June.
reimbursed to us?
All reimbursed if we spend that by the end of June, yes.
Okay, and then how many positions do we have open right now? I mean, I know that it's difficult to find personnel at this time. So do we have several positions that are open, or are we in pretty good shape in your department?
We are really fortunate that we've been able to maintain basically full staffing, and then as positions open, we've been able to
Okay.
fill them.
All right, thank you.
No further questions. Consent or action?
I'm fine with consent.
I'd prefer to keep it on action, because I think
Okay.
this is important
So
information.
noted.
for the
It's on action. Are there any other items?
No, sir.
All right, that concludes our agenda review. We are adjourned. We are still in recess from our original business session, and our executive session begins in about 2 minutes in the conference room. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.